Have you ever been the victim of a serial killer and lived to talk about it? I was walking home from elementary school when a car pulled up beside me as I strolled through a nearby neighborhood. My heart started racing in my chest as the car kept pace with me. Finally, a window rolled down and I recognized our new neighbor Tom behind the wheel. He smiled at me, but it gave off a wrong vibe. I kept walking. "Hey kiddo," he called. "Your mom sent me to pick you up from school." I hesitated for a second, but kept walking. I doubted my mom did that. She had trouble asking others for help, and I've been walking to and from school since I started 5th grade. I ignored him. He must have run out of patience because he suddenly slammed on his brakes and rushed out of the vehicle to cut me off. I froze and backed up. "Get in the damn car," he said coldly, "or your family will pay the price." The blood drained from my face and I got in the car. I couldn't let anything happen to my family. He put the child locks on, so I couldn't get out of the car even when he parked. Then he pulled away from the curb. At first, he stayed silent. Then I realized we were heading out of town. I tried the door handle, but it wouldn't budge. "Let me out," I cried. "Shut up," he muttered, as his foot hit the gas once we reached the highway. I started crying, big heaping tears and sobs that had me catching my breath. "Shut up!" Tom suddenly screamed. That only scared me more, and my sobs grew louder. Then his hand snapped out, hitting me hard across my cheek and stunning me into silence. I stared out of the window as silent tears fell down my cheeks. I wondered if I would ever see my family again. I didn't have a phone, so I couldn't call them. Then it hit me. I had to get him to stop somewhere. Then I could get help. "Why are you doing this?" I asked quietly. "I've been eyeing you since I moved in next door, boy," sneered Tom. He smirked at me. "I've been kidnapping boys like you for a long time now. I remember seeing something on the news about a serial killer moving into town, but never in a million years did I think he would target me." Fear filled me and my hands started shaking. My knee wouldn't stop bouncing. "I don't feel good," I blurted out, holding onto my stomach. I moaned in pain. "Please, I'm gonna throw up." "Not in my truck," Tom yelled. "Then you better stop somewhere," I shouted back. Tom stared at me for a moment, hatred in his evil eyes. "You better not be playing me, boy," he snarled as he got into the far right lane so we could get off at the next exit. When he pulled into the gas station, I felt a little bit of hope rise inside me. Tom pulled me out of the truck and shook me slightly. "Tell anyone what's going on and I swear I'll start shooting people," he said in a dangerously low voice. He showed me the handgun hidden inside his jacket, and I swear I almost peed my pants. I was so scared. Then he shoved me toward the doors of the gas station. He turned away to pump gas, and I scurried inside, racing over to the cashier. "Please," I gasped. "Call the cops. I was just kidnapped by a serial killer." The cashier looked at me for a moment before chuckling softly. "I don't have time for pranks, kid," she said gently. "Try somewhere else." "It's not a prank," I snapped. "Please, you have to help me." A hand clamped down on my shoulder, and I bit my tongue to keep in my startled scream. Tom leaned over me and smiled gently at the cashier. "Sorry, my son likes to play practical jokes on people," he said, sounding sincere. The cashier nodded in sympathy. This was my only chance. "I'm not your son," I screamed. I spun around, and before Tom could stop me, I grabbed the gun from his jacket and pointed it at him. He raised his hand slowly, pure fear entering his eyes. I guess none of his victims have ever turned on him before. I vaguely heard the cashier talking rapidly on the phone because there was the sound of rushing water in my ears. Everything faded away into the background. It was just me and Tom. He was on his knees, begging me to let him live. My finger twitched on the trigger. "Son?" A deep voice penetrated the fog that surrounded my brain. I turned to find a police officer standing nearby with his hand on his gun. "Take a breath and release the gun," he said, holding out a hand. I slowly dropped the weapon in the cop's outstretched hand. He tossed the gun to his partner and stormed toward Tom, shoving him onto his stomach and cuffing his wrists behind his back. Tom screamed profanities at me as he was dragged out of the gas station. The cop's partner knelt in front of me. "You saved a lot of future victims by being so brave," he said gently. "We've been looking for him for years now, so thank you. Let's get you home."